It's loading. Hi, welcome to Myst. I tabbed out. Hi, welcome to Myst. I'm playing Myst today. I don't know, I just thought I'd play... I've always wanted to play Myst, and I'm going in pretty blind.
The moment I fell into the fissure, that the book would not be destroyed as I had planned. It continued falling into that starry expanse of which I had only a fleeting glimpse. I've tried to speculate where it might have landed. I must admit, however, such conjecture is futile. Still, questions about whose hands might one day hold my Myst book are unsettling to me. I know my apprehensions might never be allayed, and so I close, realizing that perhaps the ending has not yet been written.
Alright, what did I say? Oh yeah, I've always wanted to play Myst, but I've never gotten the chance to. So I thought I'd do it. So I'm excited, I'm excited. I'm going in pretty blind. I mean, I know the ending to Myst, because what kind of huge dork doesn't know the ending of Myst? You know? And I know a few of the puzzles, but I'm pretty much just going in pretty blind. So... yeah. Myst. That is one funky and crusty looking picture, and I respect it for that. Alright, I have no idea how well this game's gonna run, I'll be honest with you. As you can see right now. Oh, it crashed. Alright, it crashed. We're fine. Yeah, this game is not well optimized because it's Myst. But anyways. This is definitely a choice. Oh, sorry. Tapped out. Alright, so, Myst. Dear lordy. Alright, let's see. Oh, no, I want to look at this. Okay. So, yeah, Myst. What, from like 19... who even knows when? Catherine, I've left for you a message of utmost importance in the forward chamber beside the dock. Enter the number of marker switches on the island into the imager to retrieve your message. Yours, Arthur, I think. It's been a while since I typed cursive. Oh. I assume these are marker switches. So that's 3. Ooh, button. Ooh. What's it? It's my birthday! I don't even know, man. 2,000. Oh wow, they really did program it to do every single number. Okay. This is a very loud sound. Do that at I don't know, man. I'll just say like 8, I guess. I can't remember what my birthday is. What are the stars on that day? Yeah? I don't know. That's probably correct. Let me out of here. Doxing myself in my Myst playthrough. That's my birthday. Alright. Oh. It's gonna crash. It's gonna crash again. Oh, we're good. Yeah, that might happen. This is gonna be a playthrough where I'm at very high risk of crashing. Wait a second. Why am I here? What? What? I exited out of here. Alright, whatever. Whoa. Oh. Press this. Oh. Okay.
Serious? Are you?
Hi, I'm Doney.
See you. You know. Help me. Bring blue pages.
Alright, I'll bring you blue pages.
Never, never. Pages. I must have the blue page.
Okay. Is that it? Is that all you're gonna say? I'm gonna leave you now. I'm gonna leave. Okay, goodbye, sir. And of course, the red pages. Alright, time to hear this guy say he wants red pages.
Why?
I'm Doney. I'm Doney. Okay.
I can't see. You don't let me read it, you must. Make it bring.
I'll bring you pages. I'm gonna leave you now. You're very annoying to listen to. Alright, pages. Pages. Alright, so... map. Oh. Okay. Don't know what that did. There. That is a lot of reading. Okay. I am gonna read all that. Congratulations, welcome to my playthrough. It's time for me to read out loud. And maybe not even know what it's saying because it's all cursive. Or cursive based. It'll be great, we'll have a fun time. I've called this age Channelwood, and it is a very different world. Though it is exactly how I imagined it, it is still amazing to see it with my own eyes. Water covers this age as far as I can see except for a small rocky island. Elsewhere, there are only trees, which grow directly out of the water. A myriad of thin wooden passageways are built just above the water and disappear into the forest. I assume they were built some time ago, for they appeared aged. I am eager to discover more about this land and its people, but I have arrived here late and I must rest. I was awakened this morning by strange noises coming from a pathway adjacent to the one on which I had slept. I saw a group of monkey-like people heading in my direction. They did not see me yet. I did not feel threatened by their presence. Their response to me was one that I would have never expected. After staring at me for a short time, they fell to their knees and began what appeared to be some sort of ceremonial worship. I tried to speak to them, but they did not understand my language. Instead, they indicated through enthusiastic hand motions that I was to follow them. As I walked, I began to notice that the waters below us were changing colors, slowly, subtly. They would change from deep blue to muddy orange, then from muddy orange to beautifully clear. I was so intrigued by the water, I hardly noticed that we had arrived at a ladder. Climbing the ladder led us to the village, which is about 10 meters above the water, and can only be reached by rope ladders that stretch from the lower pass of the village level approximately halfway up to the grand trees. It is very interesting watching these people carry out their daily tasks. Even after watching them for hours, I did not understand exactly what they were doing. At sunset, they motioned for me to follow them. I followed the creatures to the doorway of an enormous hut. Strangely, once inside, I found that the hut appeared even larger than it had from the outside. The walls were garnished with bright metals, and in the center of the hut sat the leader of these people. At least he appeared to be their leader, for he slept a meter off the floor, for he sat a meter off the floor in a thick throne. Guards surrounded the strong creature who was dressed in many exotic, colorful fabrics. Next to the leader sat a very old human. At least to some extent he appears human. His hair, which was only on his face and head, was completely gray, almost white, and hung very long around his frail body. His thin head hung limply by an almost grotesque neck that could not hold up its head up to look at me. But what a surprise! This creature could speak my language. Shortly thereafter, I was given a bed with some hand motions that looked to be telling me to go to sleep. Look forward to learning more. As suspected, the ancient creature is a human, but he is old beyond his reckoning and seems almost insane. However, the tree dwellers almost revere him as a god. They are treating me now in the same fashion, which makes me feel very uncomfortable. It is almost impossible to understand this old man. His voice is feeble but wild. He has adopted much of the language of the tree dwellers. He himself told me that he had not spoken our tongue in ages. He attempted to explain to me the history of the place. The following is my best translation, quotation marks, of what he has told me. Many years ago, the humans and tree dwellers, lived together in this place, which was a vast island. They interacted very little. The humans dwelt on the ground, and the tree dwellers lived high above the humans. Occasionally, the island was stirred by mysterious rumblings which happened randomly, some sort of tectonic or, volcanic action, I suspect. The sometimes slight, sometimes heavy tremors would only last a short time. Then they would stop, allowing everything to return to normal. One day, things changed. The rumbling began and grew quickly to unprecedented levels. Soon it became apparent that the entire island was sinking slowly into the ocean around them. Many humans died that day, but not before sacrificing themselves in order to stop sinking the island. The humans who lived through this catastrophe moved into the trees where they gradually died out, maybe because they were unequipped for such an environment, but I am not sure. This is the story the old man communicated to me, although many details are very unclear in my mind. I'm especially confused as to how the humans saved the island from completely sinking. In fact, I doubt the accuracy of that part of the story, the island story. There's a stop there. The island must have stopped on its own, yet the old man believes in the truth of the story as if he had been there, and the tree dweller worship him, and apparently all humans, as if they, were heroes or gods. The old man ended our conversation today with an event which I will never forget. He'd been gripping my hands tightly, murmuring something about rest and asleep. He then said, "We had expected you to come sooner." These actions filled me with a sort of immediate dread. With much effort, he stood to his feet. I tried to help him, but he pushed me away with more force than I imagined his frail body contained. The tree dwellers quietly surrounded him with very solemn faces. They then kneeled before him. He walked to each and placed his hands on their heads. All the while he murmured words which I did not understand. Finally he turned to me and smiled. Then he closed his eyes and walked out the door, and off the narrow path high into the trees. Tree dwellers were silent. They began a procession down the nearest rope ladder. As I was descending, I saw several of them pick up the body. He had fallen onto a lower level of walkway and carried away. He was laying down at the dead end of a short pier-like structure. With the use of some potion from the tree creatures, lit the pier on fire, and I watched as the flames engulfed him. As this strange funeral, quotation marks, proceeded, the waters around the pier changed to a dull green. This morning I awoke, finding it hard to even believe the previous evenings. The water is a dull green for as far as I can see now. For some reason, the water no longer shifts color. As I walked throughout the pathways, the creatures watched me curious to see what I will do next. They are constantly offering me strange objects of affection. I even found food outside the door to the room in which I had slept. Wait, sorry. reading all this text is making my throat hurt. This is a unique race of beings. I hope to learn the language soon so that I may learn more from them. I have lived on this world for 3 months off and on, and the tree dwellers have shown great hospitality. I'm even beginning to learn bits of their language. I have decided to return home for an extended stay with my loving wife and my sons, and hopefully return with them. However, I am sure Catherine will once again refuse. I think this age would be a wonderful experience for them all, and I look forward to how Sirius and Akanar will react to this curious inhabitants. Catherine is staying behind as expected. My sons have returned with me as they enjoy this age very much. They get along very well with the tree dwellers and are picking up their language surprisingly fast. I have no doubt that it will not be too long until they can speak with the tree dwellers much better than myself. I'm leaving tomorrow to check on Estonian age. Sirius has suggested that I allow him and his brothers to stay. Though the idea unsettles me, I know the boys are growing up rapidly. The hospitality of these creatures is such that I could think of no better place to leave them alone for a short while, so consent to their request. I warn the boys not to take advantage of the respect that the tree dwellers have for their ideas. They seem to understand my warning, and I have faith that they will follow it. Much to my dismay, upon arriving in the Ever Dunes, I learned that Pran and her people are continuing to be menaced by the Kokchi. I fear for their survival and plan on returning to her shortly after checking on Sirius and Akanar here. The Ever Dunes journal for more information. After watching Sirius and Akanar, I see they are handling things very well, and I think I can put to rest any fears about leaving them in Channelwood again, and for a little longer time. The true dwellers seem slightly distressed that I am learning that I am leaving, but are happy that Sirius and Akanar are staying behind again. I've gone for over 3 days and I've been to many different places. I had to tell Sirius and Akanar what Pran's death today. They were visibly shaken. Although they only remembered her from their childhood, Catherine has suggested that it would be wise for Sirius and Akanar to leave Channelwood for a while, and I have to agree. They will be returning with me when I leave again. I've told my sons that they will be returning with me in 2 days. They spent the entire night telling one of me of an adventure they experienced in my absence, and I was rather remarkable. It seemed they constructed a boat with the creatures and traveled some ways out into the surrounding waters. I enjoy hearing them talk excitedly of their adventures, and I'm reminded of my own adventures as a child. I finally understand why the tree lords have been giving me their inks and insisting I write with them. Looking through some of my past entries, I see now that the inks have changed from the black I thought they were, various different colors. I have shown them some of my creatures to journal, and they laughed and howled. I did not know they had such a sense of humor. Even now, as I look through the very colorful journal, I cannot help but laugh myself. We will be returning tomorrow, so my sons are with the creatures for the last night here. They have told me that they would like to come to Channelwood again, and also have asked if they can visit some other ages alone. They will have to think over their request. I believe they have proven to me that they are trustworthy and responsible. Catherine will also help me decide whether they are ready to travel alone. For now, I must give my farewells to the creatures, for I do not know how long it will be until I visit this age again. A future bridge is going to be right there, I guess. And that's, I guess, the trees. Alright, that's one book. Time to open a second one. Oh my god. Oh boy. Alright. Emmett was the first to live on the rocks. He named them the rocks because that is what they were. A group of rocks. Should I read all these? I will. I don't care. No one's gonna watch these things anyways. And if you do, thank you for sticking around for so long. He named them the rocks because that is what they were. A group of sharp rocks clustered together in the middle of a large sea. This is where Emmett lived. He enjoyed his life. Emmett would occasionally swim to nearby rocks, as it was never too far of a distance. One day, another person appeared on the rocks for no apparent reason to Emmett. Emmett named this new person Branch. Emmett and Branch quickly became friends, swimming and hunting for fish together often. Emmett showed Branch the simple cave in which he lived on the largest rock. Soon, Branch discovered a place where he decided to live, also on the same large rock. The sun always shone brightly in their world, and the water was always dazzlingly clear, allowing them to see almost to the deep ocean floor which surrounded them. Though the sun always shone, it was never too hot for the boys. A light breeze always came in from the north and cooled the area down. One day while Branch was swimming and having fun in the water, he noticed another boy swimming. Branch brought the new boy to Emmett to find out what to call the new boy. Emmett said that the boy should be called Will. Will was soon a part of the group, and all three of the boys swam and enjoyed their perfect world. At least that is the story I was told when I arrived today on the island. Emmett, Branch, and Will were surprised to see me at first, but even before the night ended, we were all becoming good friends. Today, the second day on this newly created age, a strange thing happened. It was not strange to me, but the three boys did not understand what was happening. While I was relaxing under a large tree in one of the smaller rock islands, it began to rain. It was a nice rain that lasted for about an hour in the morning. I explained to the boys that the rain was not harmful, but they obviously still feared it. Before going to sleep tonight, I told the boys I would leave the following day. I told them while I was gone, I would make a surprising change in their world. They didn't understand, not that I expected them to. I still do not fully understand what happened today. I was experimenting with the art, testing the limits of the rules as dictated to me by Father. I attempted to create a boat by riding it into the world. I thought everything was planned correctly, yet somehow the boat had become gripped by the rock and broken in half. Although this test did not turn out as I hoped, I now have answers to a few of the questions my father never answered. As for the boat, I can see the boys enjoy it anyway, and with that I am pleased. They played on it all day. Even though the boat cannot move, I have enjoyed studying from it, as it is a much sturdier platform than the jagged rocks. In the course of my observations, I have learned some very interesting things regarding the solar system of this age. The nights are absolutely beautiful here. Here's a submersible lamp. Absolutely beautiful here. I have made note of and named a number of the constellations that pass above me. Also during the night, I catch glimmers of light from the horizon, which I have not been able to discover if it is created by some natural phenomenon or by additional people on far-off islands or rocks. I should very much like to discover, which I rather suspect it is additional people, which would explain the appearance of Branch and Will. The rain today was slightly heavier than usual. Just when the boys were getting used to the light rains, a small storm arrived. They were frightened of the heavier rain, not to mention the thunder and lightning. If rain has never fallen here until recently, as the boys tell me, I would like to discover why it is falling now. Regardless, I have decided to return home for a short while. I have also been thinking of some plans for a lighthouse that I hope to construct soon. I think that perhaps by shining a bright light towards the horizon, it might prove my suspicions regarding additional inhabitants. They would be curious about the light and travel to discover its source, if they have the means. I return with many tools that I will need for construction of the lighthouse. I have decided that once the lighthouse is completed, I will leave for some time and let the world's own imagination have control. We have worked 3 weeks in the lighthouse now, and are making great progress. The rock that we are building on seems to not be as secure as I would like. I've had to alter my plans slightly, but those alterations pose no real problem. I assume there's the light, and that is how it works. The boys are quite strong and have been helping me immensely. I estimate construction will be done within 2 days. The lighthouse is finished, and we are all proud of our creation. The boys also, by the way, I assume this is one of the sons talking, because he's talking about father. The boys are amazed at the structure wrought from the rock with their own hands. That evening we powered up the generator, much as the boys dread at first, and shined a great light to the horizon for many hours. I stayed the night in the top of the lighthouse, and in the morning awoke to observe the sunrise without my being coated with the chilly blanket of ocean dew I'd become accustomed to. It was Will who first saw the girl. She was swimming not far from the boat where Will was getting ready to hunt for fish. The Will noticed a man not far away from the girl. Emmett was very pleased to meet the additional neighbors. I feel pleased to leave this age. I've set in motion of events that have nothing to do with writing or the art, that will have a more profound impact on this world than I could ever have written. I think. That was the end. Stoneship Age. Something I can't see, that one. Bides, okay, there you go. There's I assume it's a lighthouse, maybe. The ship's there. There's the lighthouse, or maybe there's a lighthouse on one of these other 2 hours. Oh, wait. I think of this age as a gift to myself that I will wrap up and open someday in the future. That's mean. Don't do that. These are real humans. Only to discover that it has changed so much that indeed it is a surprise. Besides, I have yet another new age that awaits me. It seems I'm going to need some way to travel underwater in this new age, and so much planning is in order. It's been 10 years since I left this age. Ooh, long time gap. Which I have since called the Stoneship Age. Upon returning, I cannot believe the changes that have taken place. The original 3 boys have grown to adults, and there are many new faces that I do not recognize. Branch told me that it has not rained for 7 years, and the cool breezes are back again. They're all very content and have been serving me with new foods and showing me new materials they have discovered. It even seems they have found gold somewhere. I see it in many forms around the island. The lighthouse has been kept in perfect condition. It looks as if they have tried their best to keep it so, yet I have noted that the entire rock it was built on has sunk approximately 40 or 50 centimeters. After a wonderful visit with my old friends, I wonder aloud with them what things will be like here in another 10 years. Here are constellations, and since there's that stargazing thing up there, I assume we'll need to come back to this book later. So we've got Anchor, Eye, Snake, Bug, Cross, Arrow, Flamingo, I guess, and Leaf. Let's see. So we've read 2 books, and I think there are 4 books in this bookshelf. So we're almost done, kids. Just a few more 10 minutes of reading. This is a great first episode, I know. Thanks for saying so. Alright. It has been a while since I've heard any sounds, and I enjoy it greatly. I think for some reason, I do not feel altogether welcome in this new world in which I have arrived, but how could I be unwelcome in an age with no inhabitants? It is, of course, only in my head. This world is very beautiful, but I think I have yet to ever write in a journal that an age I have linked to as horrid or disgusting. From the grassy hill where I am standing, I can see green fields below, along with a few scattered forests. A rather large lake looms some distance from where I am standing, yet the water's blue can be seen plainly from here. The air is fresh and the sky is sprinkled with white clouds. It is absolutely breathtaking, and yet, That strange feeling again. Perhaps it is the hot breeze that continues to blow from the north. Hotter than I would have imagined. It almost singes my skin, and I feel quite uncomfortable when it comes. I'll try to ignore it. I will try to ignore it. Night has almost arrived, and the sunset is spectacular. Oranges and reds have settled above the western horizon. Though night has come, the horizon still glows red long past the sunset. Dark reds flow from the horizon and blend into the black sky. Again the feeling, and I am beginning to believe that it is not all in my mind. I must sleep now. I will need my strength to explore more tomorrow. I've had to return home, due to an unpredictable natural occurrence more frightening than I have ever experienced. I was awakened by a terrible shaking of the ground and explosions on all sides of me. Gigantic balls of fire were falling from the sky, and I immediately left in fear of my life. I must remember to bring a Myst linking book with me when I return, in case the one left there has been destroyed or damaged. I have returned to a different world than the one I left only 3 months ago. It has been transformed into a barren desert land with only gigantic craters scattered across the land to provide variety. Strangely enough, the small grassy hill where I spent my first night remains exactly the way I found it. Apparently the falling meteors did not hit this area, leaving an oasis in the midst of this horrible dystopian or desolation. The hot wind I remember has turned into a rather pleasant breeze, which is at least one improvement I fear. I fear it is the only improvement. The magnificent lake I saw on my first visit is now completely dried up. Aw, that's sad. However, another lake now exists and appears to be quite a bit larger. That's good. I assume one of the falling meteors created this lake due to its circular shape and the jutting rocks that grows out of the center of the lake. The rest of this world seems like desert, although I will verify that statement with close inspection. Inspection. 1 second while it loads. Ay. All this reading. Though this world has little visual excitement to offer, it offers much to the ears. Sounds constantly flow through my ears, and I found few of them originate. Where a few of them originate. It seems, as Catherine says, I do find beauty in everything. Last night I was awakened by a horrible hissing. I was sweating, and the heat was so intense that I immediately dipped my head in a nearby stream to cool it down. The hot breezes had returned, along with a low roar from the ground. I walked a short distance to observe some red flames shooting up from the earth. Suddenly the ground began to crack with a huge chasm open. The chasm continued to grow until it was far too wide to cross. Then the tumult subsided, leaving only a dull roar. I've decided, however, I can use the chasm to my advantage. Perhaps heat from the chasm can be harnessed. Mechanical stuff. Even as the chasm has ripped into the surface of this world, it has opened up a whole new world to explore. Although uncomfortably hot, I found it possible to reach a cave in the chasm that had been created, and have now explored deep into the crust of this planet. I have found a vast underground cave system that will take many years to map and explore. I will also look for a safer way to reach the underground than through the chasm wall. The age seems to change on its own, so I feel I should leave again and see if things are different when I return. It is also important that I check on Cirrus and Akinar. Alright, so this is the dad, and make sure everything's going along well. When I return, I also hope to bring back some tools I will need from my plans to explore the underground. The abundance of raw materials here is beginning to amaze me. I have returned with some of the complex tools I know would be needing. I assumed I would have to return for more basic materials, however it seems as though I will be able to find everything I need here. Of course, iron is abundant, but I have also found titanium occurring naturally. I am all the more excited to begin work. Everything is set, and I look forward to tomorrow. My raw materials are here. I think I'll be able to have most of my additions to this age completed within 1 year. I still love working with my hands, whether writing or building. Well, I have decided. Okay, this is probably a north thing. This is definitely a puzzle solution. North, and I can spin things, I guess. 3 meters is not enough support. And it's like a satellite dish, I guess. Amazingly strong. And that's a rocket. To be one of my most prized inventions, I am extreme. Would never have imagined to come to get. I doubt. Could possibly work with 14 instead of. Completely fatigued. I am so happy to. Tomorrow. I'm leaving today in order to bring back Cirrus and Akinar. I've left them alone in Channelwood. I believe they will enjoy all there is to see here. The age seems to have stabilized. I believe the meteor set off a period of volcanic activity by piercing into the shallow crust, but the tremors are becoming few. I've just noticed that a large amount of this journal has curiously vanished from the very pages of which I wrote over the last 18 months. Fortunately, I have copied many of the construction notes in another journal. I do not understand the many mysteries of this world, but I trust I will discover logical answers to my questions. I have a feeling that many of the questions can be answered in another age to which I hope to travel soon, but for now I must simply accept the world's mysteries and take pride in my accomplishments. This is a piano puzzle. I guess I'll just keep this in mind. But this is here. This is a map of that place? Okay. One more book, guys. One more book, hopefully. Hopefully. I'm begging. Heck, maybe it'd be really nice, because I think I'm running low on time for how long I want to make these things. So let's hope that this wraps up quickly. How many pages? No amount of pages. Okay. Before arriving in this age, I was determined that it would be a journey to a world very different from my previous adventures. And it was. The sky here is dark and gray, and incessantly displays flashes of lightning in the distance. Ooh, ominous. I met a very old man with a long beard and hair that hangs to his wrist. He's very feeble and has trouble even moving. This man has obviously been through many things in this strange world, and I have learned many things from him. He has told me an interesting story of a world's history. Years ago he told me there was a beautiful city that rose up out of the water. It has many people inside its walls, and the people had everything they wished for. The city was surrounded by 3 high hills which rose higher than the city. On the east hill of the city rested a large lookout post. The people of the city had constructed the post expecting visitors to arrive from the east. People had no means of traveling on the water, which forced them to merely wait for a friend or foe. As time passed, friendly visitors brought rumors of an enemy that existed beyond the horizon. People grew fearful, yet nothing happened. One day, the usually sunny sky became as dark as night, and black ships appeared on the horizon. The lookout post attempts at peace were turned away, and the sentries that were easily overwhelmed. The ships continued to wreak havoc on the city, apparently destroying everyone and everything. After the foundations of the city were destroyed, the city sunk deep into the ocean and only the lookout post remained. The black ships sailed away. The man continued to say that 8 people had hidden and managed to survive the attack. In the 9 years since the attack, 2 of the survivors had died. He also said that it was rumored that 10 years from the attack, the enemy would return to finish the destruction they... It's loading. It started so long ago. I've decided since hearing the man's story, it would be admirable to save the civilization and stop this enemy's plan of destruction. I'm excited about the adventure that awaits me, and I had an idea that sparked in my mind to provide the needed defense for these people. I met the remaining survivors today, and I have begun work on a plan for protection. Something's happening here. After the short absence, I have returned to this age with my 2 sons. They have, okay, it's that again. They have, as of yet, traveled rarely with me, and they are understandably excited to be here. They have grown considerably since Everdunes, and it is already obvious to me that they will be a great help this time, instead of the nuisance that they have been in the past. Alright, so they didn't help on there. All 3 of us, along with 4 of the healthier survivors, began construction today. We are building upon the old city's ruins, which will provide a perfect foundation for our fortress. My sons have been spending much of their spare time on the South Island, where most of the materials are stored. I'm very pleased with their intelligence and their creativity. It's refreshing to see as they work on some small projects of their own. Is this, like a hidden stairway or spikes? Are these, like, spikes? It's been over 4 months now and construction is going well. My sons love the world except for its gray sky. They detest the gray sky and tell me many times they wish the sky here were like the blue sky in Myst. The old man I first talked to tells me the enemy is due in 4 months. I feel we will be ready when the time comes. The man reminds me of Emmett in many ways, and I often wonder how Emmett and his people are doing. It's been 6 months of work, and they have finally finished the fortress. It rests between the 3 hills, which are now the only islands due to a rising water level that the people experienced after the attack. Inside the fortress, I have designed a most intriguing device. It makes use of a technology called holography. I forgot to say hollow. I began experimenting with on my visits to Aftermere. It will be working in a couple of days after I compensate for some small miscalculations. This holographic device will enable the survivors to learn to use the fortress. The enemy is due to come soon. I trust the fortress will provide track, big circle, fortress. Makes sense. Sufficient protection for all of us. The black ships have come. Their attack is substantial. The weapons have been stopped, and it appears they have turned away in defeat. I cannot help but smile as I watch the boats leave. Insignia of the black ship is star, moon. Last night we had a small celebration, and the old survivors danced their dances of old. My sons did not understand why the sky had not turned back to its original blue. The old man told them that the storms would never end until the enemy was destroyed. I assured my sons that a blue sky was not worth the risk of death, and they seemed to hear me. I've had a healthy adventure and have begun work on a new book. Once again, I must leave the familiar age in search of a new universe. I've begun. But first, I will have an extended time with Catherine, whom I miss very much. And I also return to the people of the Tide. I believe in my travels I have found a substance that will ease the pain of their bone ailments that they have long endured. I hope to return to mechanical age one day and find the population growing and my fortress still strong. Though the sky may always be black, I am confident the people here feel a heavier darkness has been lifted from their shoulders. Alright. Well, that was a lot. That was a lot. I will end the recording, just for all of you guys. See you next time.